How's it going, guys? Rhino here, bringing you podcast number 2. Podcast number 2 is sponsored by Fexit Hosting. They provide top quality 10 gig DDoS protection servers with a custom multi-craft control panel. If you have any further questions, feel free to go to their website and jump on their live chat. It's fexithosting.com, www.fexithosting.com. If you do check anything out, make sure you use the code ThezRhino, ThezRhino, for a 10% discount on their already great prices. If you want to sponsor an episode or a podcast, make sure to add me on Skype. My Skype is ryan.pattee2, ryan.pattee2. Add me on Skype and we can discuss there. I'm also doing voiceovers for free. You can add me on the Skype I just mentioned. I will do intros, outros, or whatever you want me to do. And it's all free, all no hassle, nothing like that. Just contact me and tell me what you want me to do, and I'm happy to do it. So our 3 topics that we're going to be talking about today is number 1, how to grow your channel, something I'm asked quite frequently. Number 2, how to maximize your revenue earned on YouTube, which is also something I'm asked quite frequently because of my network. And number 3, the future of YouTube. So the first topic, how to grow your channel. This is a topic that I have talked about on my past channels, but I don't have a video currently on it, and it's pretty hard to really discuss because there's an infinite amount of ways to grow your channel, to improve your content, etc., etc. To cover it all, I'd make like a 20-hour long video, and I don't even know them all. I just know what works for me and what is the more general way to improve your channel, and that's basically what I'm going to go over is the general way. First off, you want to make sure that you have the best quality content that you can afford. This does not mean you need to buy a $2,000 microphone. This just means that if you have a $100 budget, make sure that you spread that evenly among your equipment. So it's not like you have a high quality microphone, but you have a very low quality computer, so you record in low quality and it has low FPS, because people won't like that. Just because you have one good piece of equipment doesn't mean you're automatically going to get famous. You need to have a very broad spectrum of equipment, and it needs to be more equal, I guess. Like, I would suggest spending equal amounts on each piece of equipment, so they're about equal quality, and just go for the best you can afford. If you drop a lot of money into it, I promise you'll earn at least some of that, if not all of it, back, and you'll have fun with it in return too. I mean, if you buy a really nice computer, you can get a lot of games on it, and so you can play a lot of different games on really high quality, which is a lot of fun, so it returns for you too. It's not just about the YouTube portion of it. Make sure that you have a good quality voice, I guess is the best way to put it. And what I mean by that is you don't have to be like all deep and have like a commentator type voice from those movies where it's like, in a world ruled by people, whatever. Those people, you don't have to have a voice like that. You just have to, number 1, don't be a squeaker. I hate to use that word because it sounds really immature, but it's the best way to describe it. You need to have a little bit of a deeper voice. That way people aren't annoyed when they listen to it. You need to be able to be comfortable in how you talk to the microphone. Make sure that you're not saying a bunch. Make sure that you are really comfortable, because it reflects. If you are uncomfortable recording a video, which it's just you recording a video, you have unlimited takes, so take as many times as you need to get it right. You're not like, if you screw up, it's not a big deal. You can just start over or edit it out or whatever, so relax. But you need to be comfortable in order to create the best quality content. If you can't do those, I would highly suggest making videos that don't include your voice. There are plenty of opportunities or ways you can do this, and there are great videos in that sense. And then once you get to the point where you have a deeper voice or you are able to talk more comfortably, then you can introduce your microphone. You could, there are a lot of possibilities, and I would suggest like animating or gameplay or text tutorial type videos. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you on what you do on that. And then once you have that, make sure you have a somewhat unique idea. Because if you have an idea where you're like, okay, I'm going to create a YouTube channel and I'm going to commentate over Call of Duty videos, you just went into a crowd of probably a few million people, which is fine. You're welcome to do whatever you want, but there's not a lot of room for growing there. People aren't going to really check you out because there's, tons of other people who do the same exact thing. When you're making your channel and you want to do something, make sure you make it unique, or at least unique to you. It doesn't have to be 1 in a million or something like that. It just has to be more unique, and it has to be something where someone would rather check you out for that over someone else. You add a little twist to it, you make it a little more interesting, whatever. It's up to you, and that's up to you to find out. But make sure you find that. Once you've done all those things, you have all the gear and everything, so it sounds good, your voice is fine, and you have your unique idea. From there, your only possibility for growing your channel, your best possibility, is advertising. Basically, getting your channel out there to as many people as possible. This is done in a lot of different ways. Advertising websites like Google AdWords, that's pretty good. It's not amazing. It's pretty expensive, but it's definitely a possibility. Forums like the Tech Game. I use the Tech Game personally. Also, you can do collaboration, or you can buy promotions from the other YouTubers. You can do networking where you like other people's videos and they like yours in return. There are a lot of ways to get your channel out there, but that's basically what you have to do from there. It's all about advertising your channel. Once you've maximized the quality, there's really not much else you can do. You really have to focus on that specific part of it. It's just the advertising, getting your channel out there to as many people as possible. Now onto the topic of how to maximize revenue earned. This is something I'm asked because of my network a lot. Basically, people are making videos and they're checking out their estimated earnings, and they're making like $1 for 5,000 views, and their CPM is like 20 cents or something like that, which is really low. A good CPM is probably between $6 and $10, anywhere in there. I've seen a lot higher. At one point, I actually had it on one of my channels, I had like a $24 CPM for a month, which was crazy. It was unbelievable. But there are certain ways you can improve or maximize your revenue so that you make as much as you possibly can. The number one thing that really helped with boosting my CPM when I actually owned a channel, when I could monitor that type of stuff, was the length of the videos. I messed around with it a little bit, and basically up to an hour, the longer it is, the more money you are able to make. It doesn't mean you will. It just means the more likely you are to earn more money. After the hour point, there's maybe a tiny increase or a tiny potential for increase, but it's not even worth any extra time unless your video you're planning is already going to be past an hour. I don't suggest going much further than that unless it's specific to that. You're like doing like a 24-hour live stream or something along those lines. I highly suggest keeping it between 10 minutes and half an hour. That's the best. That's prime right there. But if you really want to maximize, go for past 10 minutes because it enables multiple kinds of ads once you go past the 10-minute mark that will allow you to boost your CPM a decent amount. So I try to always keep my videos past past 10 minutes. That way it enables those extra ads. So then hopefully I can, make my friends more money because he's the one making the money right now. But I would just, number one is just increase the length of your videos as much as possible. I see people who upload like 30-second videos. If your video is under a minute long, it actually disables some types of advertising that makes it so that you don't earn very much at all. So basically, anything less than a minute, you earn horrible. Anything more than a minute to 10 minutes, you earn decent. And then anything more than 10 minutes, you earn good. You earn better. And it's based on potential because it's based on audience retention, how long someone watches your video. Now, you wouldn't, if you uploaded an hour-long video, not everyone's going to watch the video for an hour, but there are potentials for people who do watch it for an hour. For example, someone like me, when I watch videos, I usually actually don't watch the videos themselves. What I do is I go through and I make a playlist, and then I just click play, and then I open up a game or something. So the video is running in the background. So basically, I watch the entire advertisement, and then I watch the entire video. And so if someone has an hour-long video, I watch the hour-long video, and that's what I do. But if I am just browsing around on YouTube in my normal window, then I do click away before the 10-minute mark or before the video ends usually, and so it earns them less. And so I do watch the videos for longer typically, and there are people who like me who minimize, and so then they do watch the entire video. And so I'd highly suggest doing that. Next, most important, comes from where the view comes from, which is based on location, not playback device. So if you are let's say you are Russian and you speak Russian and you make videos in Russian, you are going to be making a lot less money because the ad campaigns in Russia are horrible. But because you make videos in Russian, a lot of your audience will be from Russia, Ukraine, any Russian-speaking countries where those ad campaigns are shittier, and so your ads will be targeted to that, and therefore your revenue will reflect that and will be awful. I once partnered a YouTuber who had, I think, about 100,000 subscribers, and he was a Russian YouTuber, and he would he made videos entirely in Russian. There was no English whatsoever in any of his videos. It was all Russian. And his CPM turned out to be like 11 cents, which is awful. That's just horrible. And at first I thought there was a problem. I thought maybe he was being screwed over by our network or something like that. But when I talked to some people, it turns out that's for any network. Just the ad campaigns in Russia are so bad that it earns horrible money. So my suggestion would be is if you are Russian living in Russia, I highly suggest trying to make your videos in English or in a language that has a better CPM. English would be your best bet, honestly. But make your videos in English so that it's watched by more people in the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, the higher ad campaigns. That way you're more likely to get the views from areas that pay more. So even though you're from Russia, so you are from a place that earns less usually, you will earn more because the place that's playing your advertisement pays more for those ads. Now, number 3, playback device. This one is tougher to control. Playback device simply is the device is played back on, whether it's computer, Xbox, PlayStation, or mobile device. There isn't really much you can control on this. I believe somewhere there's an option where you can disable it being watched on mobile devices, which will boost your CPM, but it will mean less views for you as well. I don't suggest doing that, but I felt like I really should mention that the playback device is important, that you do earn more from a computer than you do from like a mobile phone. And so I just felt like I should talk about that. So if you apply all those changes as much as possible, target to better places, you are going to maximize your revenue and hopefully earn a decent amount more. Now on to the third topic, the quote-unquote future of YouTube. I don't have a lot to say on this topic, so this is going to be a shorter section. But basically, I have people ask, what do you think is going to happen with YouTube? Because YouTube has been slowly making changes that are against what people want. For example, the Google Plus change. If you noticed, almost everyone hated that change. Now, people have adapted to it. I didn't really have much of an opinion on it. I didn't really care one way or the other. The only thing I didn't like was just there were so many people voicing their opinion about this issue, and Google just didn't care. They were like, we don't care. We're rolling this out. We're going to input this Google Plus change. They do make changes based on what they want, not what the community wants, which is problematic because you should do what the community wants. If I owned YouTube, I'd be rich, which would be awesome. But if I owned YouTube, I would come up with an idea. If I were to come up with the Google Plus idea, I'd come up with it, and then I would basically front page a video explaining what the Google Plus what the Google Plus idea is, so that, you know, it's on the front page of like any location so they can see it. And then be like in the video, be like, okay, like this video if you like this idea and want it to be rolled out. Dislike this video if you don't like this idea and you don't want it to be rolled out. If we get more than 50% likes, we'll roll it out. If we get less than 50% likes, we won't roll it out. And then I could do that for any idea, and it would basically be crowdsourcing improvements to the website, which would be great. But Google sadly doesn't do that, which is sad, but there's nothing we can do about that. Honestly, the only thing I have to say about this is I do think there will be a point where one of the competitors to YouTube will rise up and take over. At least a small minority of viewers. And then once that happens, I want to roll over to that website so then I can actually operate my own channel. I probably still will upload videos to YouTube if that happens, but I would want to operate on the new website so that I could have my own channel, which would be nice. I miss having that. But I do hope that happens. You know, it's really not cool, a lot of the changes that have been being made. And they've been affecting a lot of people. This whole sponsorship thing that came out a little while or fairly recently didn't affect me at all, but it was just bullshit what they were doing, because they were taking money away from people who do need it. There are people who use YouTube to pay their rent, to get a living from, or et cetera, and they would get these through sponsorships as well as YouTube. And when you cut that money, you're hurting those people who need that money, and they're the ones who rely on it the most. So yes, I do think that one of the competitors will probably rise up and at least make a somewhat takeover, maybe not full takeover, but will become a true competitor to the monopoly that is YouTube. That's about it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know if there's any topics you want me to discuss in one of these podcasts. Post it in the comments below, and have a nice day.